Good Sunday evening. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Welcome to Mason Sports Reports. I'm Mason Sapesky, your host. And today we are going to fill out the NCAA Division I Softball Championship bracket. I'm going to give you my picks. And the way this works, it's kind of like March Madness because it has 64 teams. But it works a little differently because it's double elimination here. And one team from each of the 16 regions will advance to Super Regionals. Then they go to the College World Series in Oklahoma City, I think. So today we're going to go through this bracket, and I'm going to predict which teams go to Super Regionals. Then we will do regionals. Hang on. Okay. Then we'll do Super Regionals. Then we'll do the World Series. So if you're a college softball fan, I'm sorry if I screwed something up. This is just really my first year getting into it, so it might take a little bit of time. I hate double elimination brackets too. I really do, so it might take some getting used to. First region, so let's fill it out. Without further ado, let's fill it out. We got Texas and Siena in the first region. The Texas Longhorns, the number 1 seed. Siena, I picked Texas, obviously, to win this game, giving Siena their first loss. Then we got St. Francis of PA against Northwestern. I gave Northwestern the win here, meaning St. Francis of PA will play Siena. I think St. Francis of PA will win. Next up, we have Northwestern against Texas. Obviously, Texas wins. Then we have St. Francis PA against Northwestern. I think St. Francis PA wins the second time. St. Francis of PA against Texas. I think Texas wins. Therefore, Texas advances. Now we have next up in the 16 bracket. We got Texas State against Penn State. I think Penn State wins this game, giving Texas State the first loss. Then we got 16 seed Texas A&M against Albany. I think Texas A&M wins easily. Give me them. Texas State against Albany. I'm going Texas State. Penn State against Texas A&M. I'm going to pick the upset here. I'm going to pick Penn State in this one. Texas A&M gets a loss. Texas State against Texas. I think Texas A&M, I'm sorry. I think Texas A&M wins. That eliminates Texas State. Penn State against A&M. I think Penn State will win. They'll lose the first game, but they'll win the second game, pulling off what would be a crucial upset. They will then be moving on to Super Regionals in the upset. So give me Penn State. LSU against Jackson State. That's pretty easy. I think I'm going to have to go Jackson State. Southern Illinois against California. I'm picking Southern Illinois to win this one. LSU against Southern Illinois. Obviously, I'm picking Southern Illinois. Jackson State against California. I'm picking Jackson State. Jackson State against Southern Illinois. I'm going Southern Illinois. LSU against Southern Illinois. I think Southern Illinois wins the first game but loses the second. LSU moves on. Mississippi State against Cal State Fullerton. I think Mississippi State wins. St. Mary's of California against the 8 seed Stanford. I think Stanford wins. Stanford against Mississippi State. I think Stanford wins. Cal State Fullerton against St. Mary's. I think Cal State Fullerton wins, unfortunately. Cal State Fullerton against Mississippi State. I think Mississippi State wins. Mississippi State against Stanford. I think Stanford wins. So your Super Regionals there would be in Texas, featuring Texas, Penn State, LSU, and Stanford. All right, next up, we got the 5 seed Oklahoma State Cowboys against Northern Colorado. I am going to go with an upset here. Northern Colorado, I think, wins this game. Michigan against Kentucky. I think Kentucky wins in an upset as well. Northern Colorado against Kentucky. I'm going Kentucky. And Oklahoma State against Michigan. I'm going Oklahoma State. That means Michigan's eliminated. Northern Colorado against Oklahoma State. I'm going Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State against Kentucky. I'm going Kentucky. I think Kentucky walks out of here with the upset. Give me Kentucky. This is going to be a terrible bracket. Let's tell you that right now. Arizona and Villanova. I'm thinking Villanova wins. Southeast Missouri State against the 12 seed Arkansas. I'm actually going to pick an upset here. I'm going Southeast Missouri State. Southeast Missouri State against Villanova. I think Villanova wins. Arkansas against Arizona. I think Arkansas wins. Southeast Missouri State against Arkansas. I'm going Arkansas. And then Arkansas against Villanova. I think Arkansas wins twice. I do. Arkansas will move on. Next up, we got the 13s and the 4s. We've got Louisiana and Princeton. I'm going Louisiana here. Ole Miss against Baylor. I'm going with Baylor. That says that Baylor against Louisiana. I'm going Baylor. Princeton against Ole Miss. I'm going Ole Miss. Ole Miss against Louisiana. I'm going Ole Miss. Ole Miss against Baylor. I'm going Ole Miss in the first game, but Baylor in the second. Baylor moves on to Super Regionals. South Alabama against Florida Atlantic. I'm going Florida Atlantic. FGCU against Florida. I want the Eagles to win for sure over the Gators, but it's not going to happen. I'm taking Florida. Florida Atlantic against Florida. I'm going Florida. FGCU against South Alabama. I'm going with FGCU. Florida Atlantic against Florida Gulf Coast. I'm going Florida Atlantic. And Florida Atlantic against Florida. I'm going Florida. They're a team I could see making a deep run in this tournament. I just like the way they play. And we will be doing a baseball bracket too whenever that time and date does come out. So that'll definitely be interesting when we do that. Next up, we're in the upper right-hand corner. Tennessee against Dayton. I like Tennessee for sure this game. Miami of Ohio against Virginia. I like Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio against Tennessee. I like Miami of Ohio in an upset here. Give me Miami of Ohio. Virginia against Dayton. I like Virginia. Virginia against Tennessee. I like Tennessee. Miami of Ohio against Tennessee. I think Tennessee will come back and take both. Give me Tennessee. Clemson against Southeastern Louisiana. I like Clemson. USC Upstate against Alabama. I like Alabama. Southeastern Louisiana against Upstate. I like Southeast Louisiana. Clemson against Bama. I'm going to go Clemson here. I like Clemson in this one. Alabama against Southeast Louisiana. I'm going to go with soccer. Southeast Louisiana. Alabama does not advance. Southeastern Louisiana against Clemson. I like Clemson. I think you're going to get Tennessee and Clemson at Super Regionals. Number 11, Georgia against UNCW. I'm going Georgia. Liberty against Charlotte. I'm going Charlotte. UNCW against Liberty. I'm going with Liberty. Georgia against Charlotte. I'm going Georgia. Liberty against Charlotte. I'm going Liberty. Liberty against Georgia. I'm going Georgia. I think Georgia's a strong team. I think they make a deep run, so go Bulldogs. Virginia Tech against San Diego State. I'm going Virginia Tech. Grand Canyon against UCLA. I'm going the upside. I'm going Grand Canyon. San Diego State against UCLA. I'm going with San Diego State. I think they knock out UCLA again in an upset. I think that conference is weak, and I don't think UCLA gets the job done. Grand Canyon against Virginia Tech. I like Virginia Tech. Grand Canyon against San Diego State. I like Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon against Virginia Tech. Grand Canyon wins the first game. They don't win the second. Virginia Tech moves on to Super Regionals. Missouri against Omaha. I'm going Missouri here. I think this is going to be tighter than most people expect, but I'm definitely going Missouri here. Indiana against Washington. I'm going Indiana. Omaha against Washington. I'm going with Omaha, eliminating Washington. Indiana against Missouri. I'm going Indiana. Indiana against Omaha. I'm going Indiana. Indiana against Missouri. I think Indiana wins the first game. They don't win the second. Missouri moves on. Super Regionals. South Carolina against Utah. I think Utah wins. Morgan State against Duke. I think Duke wins. South Carolina against Morgan State. I'm going South Carolina. Utah and Duke. Obviously, I'm going Duke. South Carolina and Utah. I think South Carolina wins. South Carolina and Duke. South Carolina wins the first game, but not the second. Duke moves on. Number 15 seed now. We got Florida State against Chattanooga. I'm going Florida State here. UCF against Auburn. I'm going Auburn here. Auburn against Florida State. I'm going Florida State. UCF against Chattanooga. I'm going UCF. UCF against Auburn. I'm going UCF. UCF against Florida State. Knights take the first game. Noles take the second game. Florida State is moving on. Last year's national runner-up, too. Oregon against Boston U. I am going with Boston U for sure. Cleveland State against Oklahoma. Obviously, I'm going to Oklahoma. Can't play against them. Boston U against Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma gets a run for their money, but obviously I think Oklahoma's just too good. I'm going Oklahoma. Oregon against Cleveland State. I'm going Oregon. Boston U against Oregon. I'm going Oregon. Oregon against Oklahoma. Easy Oklahoma. So we had a rematch of last year's championship in Super Regionals here on the bottom right hand. We'll get to that, but let's first start off in the upper left-hand corner. Remember, still double elimination here till the end. Texas against Penn State. Texas is obviously going to win. LSU against Stanford. Stanford wins. Penn State against LSU for elimination. LSU wins, eliminating Penn State. Stanford against Texas. Hang on. This is where it gets funky. I wonder how this works. Okay, yeah, this is where it gets kind of funky. Here, let me pull up a bracket from last year real quick. I just don't do well with double elimination brackets. I'm sorry. I think I'm doing it correctly. Okay. All right, yeah, Super Regionals. You play twice. And that determines who goes. So then it would be Texas against Penn State. I have Texas winning 2 out of the 3 games there. Texas moves on to the Women's College World Series. Sorry about that. I take back everything I just said. Take back literally everything I just said. We are going to start over now with Super Regionals. Texas against Penn State. I have Texas winning. LSU, hang on. Let me see. Next up. Hang on. I'm just counting real quick. Perfect. We got this right. Sorry about that, guys. Alrighty, we now have your 8, your 9, LSU against Stanford. I have LSU winning 2 out of the 3 games here, so give me LSU. Kentucky against Arkansas. I have Arkansas winning 2 out of 3, so give me Arkansas. We had it right earlier. It's just Super Regionals with the double elimination, and I got confused. Baylor against... I thought it was just weird. I thought one of them hosted it all, but it is double elimination. It's just 2 teams on one site. My bad. Baylor against Florida. I actually am going to go with the upset. I'm going to go Baylor here. Tennessee against Clemson. I'm going to go with another upset here. I'm going to pick Clemson, winning 2 out of 3. Same with Baylor. I think they're going to take 2 out of 3 from Florida. Georgia, though, I think they're going to sweep. They're going to take the first 2. It's going to be a sweep there. Georgia is going to sweep Virginia Tech. Missouri and Duke. I think this one goes the distance too, but I think Duke gets the job done. Florida State and Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma easily sweeps Florida State. I do. So now here's the 8 teams that are in the Women's College World Series. You got Texas, LSU, Arkansas, and Baylor, Clemson and Georgia, and Duke and Oklahoma. So this is where double elimination comes into play. We got Texas, LSU on one side of the bracket. There's 2 sides of the brackets here, obviously. We got Texas, LSU, Arkansas, and Baylor. So here we go. Texas wins. So does Baylor. Those 2 play. LSU and Arkansas play. LSU eliminates Arkansas. Baylor loses to Texas. LSU will play Baylor. Baylor will win. Texas will be Baylor. Texas will be moving on to the national champions. Clemson and Georgia. I think Georgia wins. So that means Clemson plays the loser of the other game. Duke and Oklahoma. Obviously, Oklahoma's going to win. That means Clemson plays Duke. I think Duke wins. Clemson's done. Georgia and Oklahoma. Obviously, Oklahoma's going to win. Georgia and Duke. Duke wins. Duke and Oklahoma. Duke wins the first time. Oklahoma wins the second. We get Texas, Oklahoma in the College World Series. Oklahoma will win 2 out of 3 games there. They will reign as national champions for the 4th straight year. I hate to say it, I just see it coming. I'm sorry about the sloppiness of the bracket, but here's how the bracket kind of looks when it's all said and done. Sorry about that. It was just sloppy with double elimination and everything, but my national championship prediction is Oklahoma over Texas. There you have it. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in. Again, I'm sorry for the sloppiness. Hope you guys have a good one. Enjoy the tournament. Happy Mother's Day. Take care. Stay safe. And as always, peace. See you around.